All right. Another episode of Whatever Happened to the Movies. Today we're going to be talking about all those weird comic book movies that came out during the 1990s. So it's going to be a little fun. And to get started, we're going to start with a little bit of news. Apparently I've got a guest here. My guest is here, but he is just not off mute yet.
Oh, no, I'm here. Sorry.
All right. Unmute the mic. It's an easy mistake to make. So apparently there's been a legal dispute between Amazon and Nintendo, but now it's done, so you can officially buy Nintendo Switch 2 off of Amazon. I'm not sure what kind of dispute they'd have to do that when Amazon's such a big retailer, but I guess it's over now. More layoffs have been announced at Ubisoft, and
that's a good thing.
I mean, I don't know. It just feels like we're not done yet with the tech companies laying off. We had a long time of plenty of venture capital being donated, but the websites are going down. Who knows? Maybe that means more people have an opening for blogs. We'll find out. I hope so. Mortal Kombat 2, the sequel to Mortal Kombat from 2021, is announced to be released in theaters on October 24th, 2025. Castlevania Curse of Darkness has its 20th anniversary on November 1st, 2025, which is All Saints Day if you're Catholic, and it is Day of the Dead, or Dia de los Muertos if you're in Mexico. All right. I think that's about the news for today.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about the Mortal Kombat movie. I was so unimpressed with the remake. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. at least there was Annihilation that went down as a big ball of fire. It's funny because these video game based movies named Annihilation. It's like a good indicator that they're not going to be good. Doom Annihilation, Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Yeah. Now I think about it, it's frustrating because I know I used to watch the crap out of MK Annihilation as a kid, but man, I watched it the other day and I was like, wow, I had more fun watching this. Like, it's not a better movie than the remake. That's not even a question. But
no, I like the techno music. Like I would.
Oh yeah.
I watched it. Well, not really watched it. I just listened to the music from it because I like the techno type of beats from it. But yeah, we're hilariously bad. Like Baraka had no choreography to him in that movie.
He was just a mask. Like I think that was like the actual. I think that was the actual like Halloween mask that they used to make Baraka from MK2.
Oh yeah. But he was just like, he barely had any style to his swings. He was just like, Unlike the other one, which can twirl and kick and so on. But there are apparently more thought for the 1990s, but I found out I was biting off more than I can chew because there's at least a dozen of them, so I only made it up through about 1996. But that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I didn't do Batman because Batman Returns is much more well known or notorious, depending on your perspective. So
yeah. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised Forever is even going to be discussed because we know how that went.
Oh yeah. There was a downturn with Batman, but Blade. So first one is going to be Dick Tracy, and I'm going to actually look up like stills, but I could try and zoom in, but this is the case of a comic book movie that tries to go fully retro based on the producer and director's choice, which the director is the same lead actor in the movie. So it's Warren Beatty for director and the star. It happens sometimes. But they decided to make it just recreate every little aesthetic that the comic strip and comic books from IDW that IDW published later had. So they go with the old, you know how old comics had a limited palette of colors?
Yeah.
They did that in this movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So,
because I've never seen Dick Tracy. I know of him. I've never seen anything about him.
oh, I finally watched the movie, and it's an okay detective movie. There's two. I mean, there's two. Well, one part isn't really a mystery because that Caprice, played by Al Capone, is the main bad guy, but you just don't know who the person in the black outfit with the mask is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and it's interesting that they tried, from what I'm seeing here, they actually tried to be accurate to things, which is interesting because that's like the main reason why the MCU like officially succeeded was because they rejected the all black aesthetic that Blade had initially established, which is interesting in and of itself that Marvel twice redesigned everything, because Blade came out before the Matrix and he was like all tactical black, and everybody did that. The Matrix, X-Men, etc. And then you ended up getting the MCU starting with Iron Man, and then they didn't shy away from the red and the gold for the costume for the suit, which looked fantastic. And so to see that Dick Tracy has a lot of the color scheme and the matching costumes and everything from before,
Right.
it tells me that the popularity of it, I think it's a great way to show like the seesaw, that like teetering from, we don't have enough nerdy people in culture to like comic book movies for this to succeed, to you get to Blade in the late 90s, and there's the shift where
Right.
everyone is doing it.
Right. And this wasn't terribly. It's the other ones you're going to find out did a lot worse. The big thing that Warren Beatty himself was disappointed with was how much they spent on advertising. For the time, they did perhaps the highest marketing budget at Disney, by the way, for $50 million for this movie. Back then, $50 million. I mean, today, $50 million is nothing. Disney regularly puts like $200 million into marketing, but when you consider what 1989, 1990 was, that was a lot.
That's huge. Yeah.
They had Dick Tracy figures at McDonald's. They had T-shirts. They tried putting a video game for the later NES. They put so much into advertising this movie, and even Warren Beatty was like, "You're doing too much." But otherwise, I mean, it was $46 million for the production, and it was $162 million at the box office. So the one thing that made this movie not such an outstanding success was the fact they spent over $50 million advertising it.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's closer to what they would have spent for the Star Wars remakes, or the prequel trilogy.
Yeah, for the first episodes 1 through 3. Which, if we ever review those, I'm just going to do it in episode order, if that's all right.
Oh, that's totally fine.
But yeah, Beatty, this is a case where Beatty just was an actor. It was a case of Hollywood doing a fan film, or rather Warren Beatty doing it, because it's like, I knew this comic strip. It's only going to be so long before the people who knew about this comic book and comic strips will be alive. So I'm going to make this movie. And there's this dispute between Tribune, who is the owner of the Dick Tracy publishing rights, and Disney and Paramount, who were offering to make the movie, and Warren Beatty says, "Screw it, I'll just buy the rights myself for $20 million." And he still owns it to this day. So he bought the rights. Ended up became the director for this movie and the lead role in this movie, and he still owns them.
Interesting.
Yep. And he hasn't agreed to a sequel or a TV series. I'm kind of surprised because Bruce Campbell had an offer that he pitched to him about, hey, have Bruce Campbell as Dick Tracy and just whatever. It's Warren Beatty, and it's his money and what he bought. So I guess that's what he wants to do.
You know, I actually don't. I'm making an assumption that I understand some of his logic here. If he doesn't want anyone to destroy or tamper with the idea or ruin what Dick Tracy is, then that makes sense. That makes sense. Because
I don't know. I'm tempted though. I'm tempted because I think that Bruce Campbell could be a pretty interesting Dick Tracy.
Oh, I agree.
And television just matches pretty well with the idea of something that was either in comic books or in the Sunday comics as a strip. So, but this movie is a case of, well, they really wanted it to look retro. They really wanted it to look, as you can see in that picture. I'm going to get a bigger picture here because it's just crazy how they just really wanted to recreate the time period with the comic strip and the comic books are published. Like they didn't want to make it set in the 1990s. They wanted to make it set way back, look like it's the 30s.
Yeah, if they did bring it back, there's definitely an aesthetic that would be brought with it, because I wonder how newer generations would react to like men in like
trench coats
and suits like this, especially with the love for cloaks and everything else.
Oh yeah, and I think one of the funniest parts is actually Al Pacino is the main villain because he hams it up to 11 the whole time that he's on screen. I mean, I'd show the clip like I want Dick Tracy dead because that clip is it's the epitome of like Al Pacino acting, in my opinion.
Nice.
But I just, I do enjoy this film for how they try to recreate the old times rather than try to make it reset. And it's one of the most
or do it in the current era.
Yeah. I mean, I think a guy in a yellow hat and trench coat would look a little weird right now.
Yeah, because they definitely try to like dull it out and make it more of a gray yellow.
Yeah. All right. So I don't want to get too lost on Dick Tracy. Oh, hey, Chaos. We'll get into the shadow later. Yeah, I loved watching that with you. Yeah, and Braymore, we'll get to The Mask if we ever do another episode because that's also a comic book movie.
Also, hello guys, how are you?
So this is Darkman, and the funny part about Darkman is that the director Sam Raimi did the comics for it. So it's him directing a movie for his own comic book. You can't get any more how do you put it? Any more consolidated creatively than that.
Yeah, and this came out not so it was inspired by Shadow, but didn't Raimi like lose out on the rights to the Shadow, and so he was like, screw it, I'm gonna make my own version.
Yeah, so Raimi made his own comic book, Darkman, with some inspiration from the Shadow, and this is based on Sam Raimi's own comic book.
Nice.
So, it's a man directing a movie based on his own comic. So
Yeah, and a lot of his Raimiisms really came through in this one.
So
Like there's this goofy there's a thing that always makes me chuckle like when I've seen the movie. There's a point after he's fallen into the vat and his skin's all screwed up. I don't know if you remember the shot, but he's monologuing to himself about what he's gonna do, and then he does this very skeletal sort of laugh, just but
yeah,
he
I never thought
exaggerates
of
it.
it. I never thought of hearing Liam Neeson laugh like that. It was so
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, but he exaggerates it so that the mask goes like he's moving his jaw down with it, so he laughs like a skeleton, so the mask just stretches with it. It's
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah, the camera angle makes it all the more better to see that part. So, and yeah, Braymore, it's loosely because it takes parts of various different parts of the Dark Horse comic series, The Mask. Like, it wasn't always Stanley Ipkiss. Like, Stanley was only the mask for a brief time. Then other people wore the mask. So, yeah, I'll get to the mask, but the priority is we'll talk about Legend of Zelda, followed by Unbreakable, because Unbreakable is turning 25 years old. So that should be pretty fun, too.
We're old.
Not old enough. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I almost forgot about this until I realized, yes, that's a comic book movie, too.
Yeah, I tend to forget, even as big a TMNT fan as I am, I tend to forget this originates from a comic, because this was the first time I had seen anything Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean there's a comic strip?
Yeah, no, this is the original comic books were like black and white comic books in 1984 by Eastman and Laird, Mirage Comics. But they weren't really kids things, because the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they have no problem with killing bad guys in the original comics. You know, they're basically actual ninjas.
Oh
they
yeah,
were using throwing stars, and the Shredder accidentally kills himself with his own hand grenade.
yeah, because back then, because that shows such a different mentality. This is why someone like Razor Fist is like, yeah, the Shadow is infinitely better than Batman. Because back then in that era, nobody screwed around. If you were just straight up evil and you were doing the things that you did, you died.
Right.
And superheroes were like, yeah, these guys are great. Even the Ninja Turtles were just locking off limbs left and right.
Even in the earliest Superman, there's a guy, so he forces the guy to inhale his own poison gas. Like, he was intended to use this gas on Metropolis, so Superman basically kills this guy. He forced him to breathe it in. But no, this had a lot of interesting parts about it. It was actually filmed, like, they used backdrops for New York City, but this is actually filmed in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Wow, really? They did
like the park scene with Casey Jones, that was North Carolina right there.
Wow.
And the farm scene was North Carolina as well.
I'm surprised they did it as well as they did, because you would never have made me think otherwise. Without researching, obviously, I never would have considered this not to be New York.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, they did some tricks, like they only kept the angle of the camera at the street for a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have a hard time telling where it was, but they took footage showing New York City as a backdrop. So they did not have a distributor at the time they released it in theaters. They did for home video, so at the time it became the highest grossing independent film when it was released in theaters. Hi, Sam. Oh, you must be up early.
He's from down under.
Yeah. It's about like 5 or 6 hours earlier than it is for me. So he's up early in the morning. Hi, Sam.
Yeah, late shift. Yeah, no, I suppose I haven't seen it in ages, so this may be inaccurate, but to me, this is the best Ninja Turtles movie. Because I haven't seen the CGI one from like 2002 or whatever.
2007, yeah. So
it's been so long.
Yeah. But this was the first one. There were so Keno, the actor for Keno was Ernie Reyes Jr. You may have seen him in the rundown. He's the little guy who's like kicking Dwayne Johnson around.
Dwayne Johnson around? What?
Oh, in the rundown, starring Dwayne Johnson.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So this is Ernie Reyes Jr. When he was starting as an actor, he was doing stunt work for Donatello. Then he got his own role in the second Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie as Keno, the pizza delivery boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But this is not
funny. Which is so funny because you see his mouth when they're out at the farm and they see when Raphael wakes back up and he like tilts his head back and the puppet's mouth like widens and you just see this little human mouth in the middle of it and you're like
yeah, it's a xenomorph or something. He's got a mouth inside a mouth. Yeah, I gotta give credit to these people because these things were electric motor powered mouths for the turtle mouth. So they had to listen. They had to listen to the motor moving the mouth while they're inside the turtle suits.
That must have taken a while to get used to because you just have the humming and the mechanisms and everything. Just
yeah. I do think that James Sato, who is the Shredder in this one, was the best, live action Shredder. From his time.
It's such a good Shredder too. Like when he shows up in the middle of that, I don't even know how you would describe it. That massive, youth gang camp thing
at the abandoned warehouse on Laird Street.
Yeah, when he shows up and he's in his costume, the music's low, deep, and then they one at a time reveal his Spalders, and you're just like, oh, like this is serious. Like he's imposing, right? and then at the end they don't, even for as limited as it is, and I love that it's a live action fight, but the turtles fighting the Shredder one at a time still gets me kind of hyped.
Yeah. Also, Elias Codius as Casey Jones is pretty good as well, even though he kind of broke the rule about keeping the hockey mask on. But no,
he was good, Casey Jones too.
Yeah, so Shadow Master, they did do dubbing for a lot of the voices. Like they had the actors for the Turtles, like Josh Pace, Leif Tilden, record their voices for dubbing, but you still had to be inside the turtle suit with the electric motors opening the mouth open and shut, and they dubbed for the voice later. So you had to have that irritating electric motor sound in your ears. Like think a Tesla car, only it's louder because you're inside the suit next to that electric motor with no mufflers.
That must have been frustrating at times, especially how big and dark these suits are under. Because where did they film that farmhouse? Was that also in North Carolina?
Yeah, that was in North Carolina as well.
Oh man, that must have been.
It was hot inside the suits.
Oh yeah.
They had some, but it's still a loud electric motor in the suit. I mean, it was the guy for Raphael, Josh Pace, was talking about it. And you can't. He also just mentioned in his interview you couldn't totally muffle the sound out because you had to hear some of the sounds on set to know what was going on. So, yikes. But no, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is one of those, and apparently we keep forgetting that it's that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a comic thing.
Yeah, well, this is also like the spawning of the extreme popularity of everything. Like you had the cartoon, which worked really well, and then the movie came out and crushed it, and then the Turtles dominated for what, like an entire decade?
Like the next 5 years, anyways. Like the television series went until about 96, where the viewership was dropping. Obviously, they had other
with
television going on, but it started up again in around 2003, and that went for like another decade. TMNT.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this has one of the coolest credit songs. The
Turtle
Power, like it's so good. I that old aesthetic of that like 80s early, like that like whole 80s into the early 90s like rap R&B kind of, like there's a different aesthetic about that no one has ever tried to emulate, and I think it's a shame because man, it hits different.
It does. It does. I mean, I keep forgetting the band is partners in crime, because they also have songs from other rappers and artists. Like they have like MC Hammer singing his song, 2 different songs throughout the one. Like they were doing this. This is what we do when when the kid named Danny goes into the warehouse for the shredder the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. But now we're going on to the next one, Captain America. So yes, the first Captain America movie.
Get some rest, Sam. Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah. See you later, Sam. So yeah, there isn't too much to this. It had a very short run in theaters. It actually showed up in theaters in the UK first before it came to the United States.
Yeah, I tend to forget in a similar manner to the Ninja Turtles comics. I tend to forget this like Marvel actually tried consistently in the early 90s and just failed every time. Because they had who's the guy, I always forget his name. Corbin, or Jeremy Corbin, is the one who did the Fantastic Four movie.
Oh yes, that one didn't quite get released, and that's the only reason why I'm not including in this one, because it didn't make it to theaters. They canceled it, they had footage from it, but it just didn't make it. I was thinking of mentioning, like, they had Death of the Incredible Hulk in 1990, but that was on television, so I'm not sure that quite qualifies, because we're trying to look at movies that made it to theaters, but there could be another episode. But no, this one was actually done by Columbia Pictures. Now it would be Sony Pictures, because Columbia Pictures got bought out, but it wasn't bought out back then. And it has some of the basic plots. Yes, it had a Thor cameo movie in the Hulk TV movie.
Yeah, so, didn't he have like those really big furry shoulders?
Yeah, he was wearing the coat. Yeah, but this one is the one time we actually got to see Red Skull in the present, although he looks worse. And he just wants to buy out all the corporations and become a monopolistic businessman. I mean, come on! You wanted to blow up the capital of the United States, and now you just want to buy it all out? Like, what?
It's so goofy.
I guess, like, if you can't beat them, join them or something.
I think What was it like? Lex Luthor becomes president eventually.
Yeah, that was
in
Public
the
Enemies.
comic series, so more or less, kind of inspired it.
Kind of. You did have early portrayals of the comic of the Sharon Carter and Sin, the daughter of Red Skull. But I'm just disappointed because he lost the red face, and he just has this really goofy looking face. And they made it so he's not Johann Schmidt anymore. He's an Italian guy originally.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. All right. Sorry, losing a little sound here.
No, you're
little
good.
sound
You're
loss. What? All right. And the Rocketeer.
I think this is a underrated movie.
It was pretty interesting. It was actually directed by Joe Johnston, who directed Captain America: The First Avenger later.
Mm-hmm.
But the comic book is funny because the comic book was in the 1930s. It's set in the 1930s, but it was actually started in the 1980s and has been published by independent comic publishers ever since. So it's not a Marvel or DC Comics series. But this is, an early comic book movie adaptation by Disney.
Yeah, this movie feels very much like the first MCU Captain America movie, because you have kind of an underdog hero. Or Iron Man is well, it's probably a bit of a hybrid of both.
Low cost Iron Man. I mean, he was doing stunt airplane flights in California. That's how he starts.
Yeah. So like he starts off fairly like humble, wants to do better, and it all culminates up like he goes through the ringer of like learning how to fly. He's not perfect at it. Eventually he gets better. Like he's an all-around pretty good guy. Like it's like there's a lot of heart in the Rocketeer. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but and so maybe there's rose-tinted glasses here, but I remember really liking this movie.
I did myself. I mean, there's all this. There's, it also has that cheesy Dick Tracy disfigured henchman in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Disney actually still has film rights to it, not the comic book. So Disney actually did an early Disney Plus animated series about the Rocketeer, about Cliff, about his son is the new Rocketeer's little kid. So that was an early Disney Plus animation about how his kid is the Rocketeer now. But so they haven't done a whole lot. They did something.
I heard a few years ago there was supposed to be a remake or a reboot of the Rocketeer, and something happened where it got shut down.
Yeah, it got canceled.
Thank God.
I mean, I wouldn't mind if they at least tried to do a different story, and they've tried to do it, but sometimes it hasn't turned out well. Like, I mean, so with the Venom movies, I'm disappointed in them, but I kind of saw that they wanted to do the whole Eddie lives in San Francisco. Okay, fine. They just wanted to skip the whole origin story to get to San Francisco.
In 2021, Disney announced the development of The Return of the Rocketeer, with Ed Reichort writing the screenplay and David Oyelowo.
Yep.
Oyelowo considering a starring role. Apparently, it's still in development, so there's actually a chance modern Disney is going to redo it.
Yeah. But I've still got this one in my on my my TV cabinet in the DVD case.
Mm-hmm.
And with the way the streaming wars are going, I just can't stand how the rights are changing for streaming. So I'm glad I've got the discs. Right.
I keep telling everybody, like, my brother doesn't necessarily agree with me, and I think, like, we've discussed it before, the model of streaming, and I think streaming is going to die. I think it'll die over a longer period of time, but we're already seeing massive changes that many people are not okay with.
I mean, the one who actually gets a net gain in money is, and even that, it's Netflix, and even sometimes they have a net loss of money depending on what season it is for them.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it costs so much to produce this, and you need a lot of customers and a lot of money charged monthly to break even on the cost.
Streaming is dying quicker than cable, that's for sure. Yeah, I would agree to that, because, well, see, like, the reason cable also worked as well as lasted as long as it is because there was literally nothing else unless you had VHS. They ran in tandem. It's like, oh no, I missed this movie, but you watch like the tail end of a movie and you're like, oh, I kind of want to watch this movie again, so you would watch it again if you had VHS. Most people don't have anywhere near as many DVDs as they could now, or Blu-rays for that matter. So without live TV, because TV's basically dead at this point, like, no one's really watching as much entertainment, and when they do watch entertainment, if it isn't some woke crap shoved down your throat, then the quality of it is most likely not very good.
I mean, to me, it feels like, there was a writer's strike for television, and I feel that there somehow hasn't been much of a recovery in that way for the writing. I feel that even with television, it's suffering a bit in the writing department.
Yeah. Yeah. And because they keep losing customers and everything, it's like they're gonna increase the cost.
I mean, I got some laughs from watching Dr. Horrible, because that's something that Neil Patrick Harris, Nathan Fillion, and the others just did for fun when the writers were on strike. But I mean, that's the one part I liked about the strike.
Yeah, I got you.
Watching those guys joke around.
I don't know. I feel like I feel like because, well, you mentioned before, and you would know this better than I do. It's extremely expensive to host any sort of cloud service or anything. So when they're doing streaming off of servers, like how is that so expensive that millions from streaming can't pay for that?
Oh, I mean, you could. You just need a huge number of customers on that service, and you need to charge them more. I mean, you're energy intensive for using the server farms, and then you're talking about high performance servers that store and process so much data.
Mm-hmm.
For gaming, it would likely be worse. It would be worse for gaming streaming, because you don't want to have a lag when someone's playing the game. You could have a slight lag while you're loading up a movie, while you're loading a movie to your device. Sure. But it's worse with games being streamed for the cloud. And Sony decided, look, we're not going to do cloud gaming like Xbox is doing. We're just going to have it so you download it on the PlayStation console hard drive and play it from there.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's cool and such that Google did Stadia streaming and Microsoft does cloud gaming, but my subscription fee of like $25 every month just to stream games for Microsoft, like I might as well at that point just buy Xbox games or buy them on Steam at $25 a month.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, yeah. But yeah, at the rate things are going, I'm just happy I have some discs for the movies I really value.
Oh, totally understood. Totally understood. I enjoy picking up a lot of classics and getting physical media at this point. Very few because I want to get very particular things, but man, it's if I ever want to watch them, they're there.
All right. So yes, finally we're talking about The Shadow. And The Shadow starring Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, how fitting that he's got guns.
Okay, yeah, I know. Rust reference. I do Herbal Dragon. I do have games physically, and if I don't, I have it like written in a DVD or on a type of external media where I could use it without the internet. I still play the Nintendo Wii, and that's disc based.
Yeah, I've got so many of these classic cartridges up here. Like, I don't know if I can. Like, I even have a few. Like, I don't know if you can. I'm sure you can hear this.
Oh yeah,
because I still have. Like, this is Mega Man 4 for NES. This is in the original Nintendo.
You got the box. That's good. Yeah. So yeah. I've also been getting like the multiple games in one cartridge deal too on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
So I have I assembled the Nintendo Game Boy Advance SP, and I got a 101 games. You just put that 101 game cartridge, and you can pick which of those Game Boy Advance or Game Boy Color games you want to play in there. So, and Braymore, apparently a lot of Gen Z and a lot of millennials agree with you because these older games on Steam and GOG are selling pretty well right now. People are playing games from before they were born at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's more of a complete a sense of completion in those games because when they came out, you couldn't patch anything. So it's like whatever exploits you had in them is what you had. But when you got that game, it's like, this is what we set out to make. We made it, we completed it, we refined it to some degree, and now you get to experience it. No downloading, no updating, none of those memes where it's like, finally, I get to play Call of Duty 18 with 99 gigabytes of download, and then you turn it on and it's like you have to update your system, you have to update your graphics driver, you have to do a system update, you have to do an update for the game because somebody hot patched it because somebody's shotgun was an infinite. Yeah, it's funny to see how correct a lot of us were in stating older media and older content is just superior.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm going to get lost for a bit. But The Shadow, yes, it did not do well. It was a production budget around 40 million, 23 million at the box office initially.
Mm-hmm.
It did have home video sales that helped get a little bit more of that cost covered. It features early CGI along with digital morphing of the film to make it look like what a face is transforming. So
yeah.
So they did that, and it also features extensive work with reflections and mirrors when they're filming to do a little bit of a to help do a bit of the making something appear half opaque, but they're using mirrors instead of today's computer editing. This film is infamous because a set from the film was destroyed by the 1994 Los Angeles earthquake.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
I used to have, I'm sure it's probably long since gone at this point, but I used to have the action figure form of the Shadow from this game, from this movie, including Genghis Khan.
Yep. The Great Khan. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows.
I would love to see Razor Fist review this movie, because he's such a big Shadow fan.
Yeah, you're telling it's got to be a joke. There's no way he could have missed this movie yet. He's talked about Escape from LA, Escape from New York, but not The Shadow.
Yeah,
are you kidding me?
I wonder if he's just avoiding it for valid reasons.
He's not. It doesn't make sense. He's not scared of controversy, but yeah.
No, not at all. Not Razor.
So, but yeah, I didn't even mention half the cast in this one. It even has Ian McKellen, which you'll recognize played Magneto and Gandalf later, and it has Raymond's dad from Everyone Loves Raymond as the cab driver.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was in there. The father.
Yeah.
Wow. It's been so long since I've seen this, man. It's like this and The Mask. It's just like, oh, or no, not The Mask. Purple Suit. What? Phantom.
Yes, Phantom is coming up soon. Very soon. But I watched it, and it was interesting how they did some of these scenes, even though this is old 1993 when they were filming it. Effects. And, like Dick Tracy, they decided, let's do the retro setting, make it set back when the comics were being published.
Yeah, and there's still a really big Shadow following. Not just like obviously there are people that do enjoy the movie to some degree.
I mean, they have audio recordings from the radio on YouTube, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how big the Phantom or the Shadow still is.
I mean, they did a reference to the Shadow with the Gray Ghost in Batman the Animated Series, and it was actually voiced by Adam West. Nice. I mean, if you watch that, I'm trying to remember the episode. I believe it was called Gray Ghost, but you could tell that, yeah, that guy's based off the Shadow. And, it's also a tribute to the fact that Adam West previously played Batman as well.
Yeah.
But, oh, yeah, it had Tim Curry in it as well. Tim Curry, too. So many cameos in that movie.
Wow.
Judge Dredd.
I am the law. I like how that's basically like the meme that came from this movie all these years later.
It's two angry Italian men arguing. Armand Assante and Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah. And I like how it's so funny because like I because I did the big review on Lilo and Stitch a couple weeks ago, and it's funny because around that same time I saw a clip of Judge Dredd. I don't know why it was related. I don't really know anything about it, but I happened to see the escape scene, which I had totally forgotten about, where where DeSante uses his like DNA to get the warden killed by the automatic turrets, and I was like, that's such a crazy relation. Like Lilo and Stitch's, like the way Stitch escapes is literally ripped straight from Judge Dredd. Like, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, and Braymore, that my favorite part about this movie is it isn't good, but it does a great job with practical effects and the painted backgrounds, just showing you recreating the comic book backgrounds from 2000 AD. It's crazy.
They did a very good job of trying to bring the comics to life, from my understanding.
Yeah, there was the Angels. They did a great job on the costume design for the Mean Machine and the Angels. They did a very interesting Mega City design. You know, this is back in 94, 95 when they were filming it. No, I don't know. I'll say Diane Lane, who you remember is playing Martha Kent, is in it as well as Judge Hershey.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah. Yeah, that was my favorite rant from Asante in it. That's your birthright. That's your family. I'm your family. Family you ever had. I mean, Asante is great when he does his angry rants in the various movies like Gotti or this one. He does it. He keeps his high energy and he keeps his fast paced, angry dialogue going. It's just I'm amazed at how he does it.
He just lets it rip.
Yeah.
Which was such a funny joke, because which list was he on in the Santa Claus?
Oh, I don't remember.
I don't remember which
Asante
list
was
he was
in
on.
Santa Claus?
No. Because that's part of the joke, is how he always gets angry and just screams and rants about things. I don't remember if he was on the good list or the naughty list in the Santa Claus, because Tim Allen gets the boxes and boxes of the list for who to give presents to, and he opens it up and it's like Armand Asante, yo. And then he runs off after the guys because they dropped off the list for Christmas. I don't remember which one he's on. I don't remember if he's on like the naughty or the nice list. And the joke is that like he shouldn't be on I think it's the good list. And it's like the joke is that he shouldn't be on it.
You're right. But you know, just like look it up on YouTube, because Armand Asante has like the craziest angry rants I ever recall watching. And yeah, that's true. They wanted to do a Judge Dredd movie, but they ended up doing RoboCop instead. It would just be too expensive to make the mega city, so they decided let's do Detroit, Michigan, because we have Detroit, Michigan in real life.
Yeah, at this point, yes.
And I think the other part I like too about this movie is the beginning, where you have James Earl Jones as the narrator, introducing you to the world, and it's just like they were the judges. Yeah. So a bad movie, but I loved moments from it. And Alan Silvestri gave a good musical score.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Silvestri is one of my favorite composers for Hollywood. I love brass. I love brass, and so like Alien 3 to me has like the strongest. For me, it's one of my favorite soundtracks.
Oh wow, yeah. So now we're here at The Phantom, starring Billy Zane. So,
yeah, this one I remember even less, even less than The Shadow.
I remember that this is one of the ones I didn't see, but it's the one where I believe they actually had him in the Got Milk commercials or newspaper ads with the pictures. They showed him with the milk mustache.
I need to look this up, because I feel like you're right.
The Phantom Got Milk. Anyway, he can transform into the Phantom with the magic skull ring, which is funny because doesn't He-Man have a ring that he can transform with too? Power of
I
Grayskull.
know.
That's it.
I know. I know.
Oh,
that
that's where he's in Titanic. Yeah.
I'm not finding it. There's an awful lot of Got Milk commercials, but no, I'm not seeing it.
Oh, it might have been an illustrated one.
Possibly.
Yeah.
It's also not necessarily guaranteed that YouTube's going to have the like all of the older commercials and everything.
Okay, so I'm looking up Billy Zane. Yeah, Billy Zane was also in Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight.
Mm-hmm.
He almost looks like the Mummy, like even though it's not the same actor, obviously. Arnold Vosloo's the Mummy.
Oh, Brendan Fraser?
No, Arnold Vosloo, the Mummy.
Oh,
Zane is also has his head shaved, but a little different. Yeah. So yeah, this was another one. It was filmed primarily in Australia, and it's a superhero with an inherited title. He transforms into the Phantom using his magical skull ring. Yeah, but it had a little bit higher home video sales, but yeah, it was $23 million lost by Paramount.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were really trying to do a lot of different things at the time in the 90s. I just can't imagine. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong because I know Zorro also did really well.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe this
Mask
was just
Zorro was a little later with Banderas and Zeta Jones.
Yeah, which was so well done. That first one's fantastic, but I don't.
Don't talk about the sequels.
Okay, well, I'll stop that train of thought.
Yeah, yeah, there's a side-scrolling Phantom game.
Yeah, I remember. Actually, I still, I think I got rid of all like a ton of them, but I used to have a bunch of the old Game Informers that had all the artwork and illustrations and the maps and everything. And I remember reading through it and seeing a lot of stuff about the Phantom, at least at the time.
Yeah. So we're at the end, but there's more 90s films, Steel or Blade, and many more. But that's all I could cover today. It's just so much in so little time.
Mm-hmm.
But next week is Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and after that is Unbreakable.
Nice. Cool. Can't wait for those.
Yep. So everyone, thanks for stopping by. See you next week. Same time, same channel.
Yeah. Apologies for me being like radio silent. I've been hard working on the Jurassic World Rebirth review, and it's going to be big. It's going to be big like Alien Romulus. So I've been trying to crunch down on this. So that'll come out tomorrow, and then I'll stream like Jurassic Park for the Super Nintendo afterward. So that's my plan. So stay tuned, everyone.
Good. All right. So next week it's